On this edition of the Just in Time podcast with Justin Kutcher.
Would make jokes about how dumb we were running around hitting each other, right? You talk about you a great athlete. You ain't too smart because you decided to run around and knock each other. Like, so I'm telling you who's the better athlete. When we talk about basketball and football players, at 35, you retired. At 35, I got an MVP.
When you got lined up against Moss.
When I played with the Rams, I always tried to see where my safety was. Like, you need to come over here. Like, literally. When we played them in 1999 in the NFC divisional game, and he went off on us. Like, every time I lined up, I was looking for my safety. When people ask me what quarterback I picked the most, it's Brett. I got him every year, just about. Like,
why? What was it about him?
I mean, Brett is a gambler. So when you gambling as a guy that got ball skills, sometimes that's going to bite you in the ass, right? But on the flip side of it is, like, as a receiver, you want a quarterback that is not afraid to make a throw in a tight window, right? Those years when I played against Brett, I got him a few times. And so that was check mark for me. He was a phenomenal champ, played multiple sports, played multiple positions. He's not the strongest looking, right? He's a slender body, but the way he competes, his ball skills, his athleticism, I'm not going to say one of the most. He's the most humble person that I've ever been around.
Damn.
For him to be as great as he is. Arguably, he's the best defensive back that ever played a game. I mean, he has the most Pro Bowls. Like, I will argue Champ Bailey got 52 career.
The greatest sports moments happen in seconds, but the stories behind them are timeless. Dive into the mind of the icons who live those moments. No filters, just authentic conversations about the moments that define careers. I'm Justin Kutcher, and this is the Just in Time podcast. Welcome to another episode of the Just in Time podcast with Justin Kutcher. I'm joined now by a guy who spent 11 years in the NFL, a two-time Pro Bowler, a Super Bowl champion. He also shares the same birthday with me. He gave me the nickname Bieber.
And Justin Bieber.
And now he's a defensive assistant at the University of South Carolina. It is Dre Bly. Dre, man, thanks for doing this. Appreciate it.
Nah, no problem, man. It's always good to chop it up with you. Justin Bieber fever.
You know, it's so funny is I remember when you were with the Dolphins and I was doing the Falcons Dolphins preseason, and I saw you on the field, and I remember saying to my analysts, Coy Wire and DJ Shockley, I'm like, just watch. He's going to come up and go Bieber fever. And the first thing you did, you dapped me up. You're like, Bieber fever.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah.
I love it.
Well, that's you, bro. That's when I first saw you. It stuck. It sticks now. You still look the same. And
so do you.
Yeah, but nah, man, it's stuck. And now good to see you, brother.
You too, man. It's funny. I'm looking at you right now with that South Carolina Gamecock pullover on, and I'm just like, man, this is so foreign, because when I think of Dre Bly, I think of Carolina, North Carolina, Chapel Hill.
Carolina. Right.
What made you choose Chapel Hill to play football at?
So it was the environment and Mac Brown and, what he was building in the 90s. And then the other thing is, really that was the second thing that mattered. The first thing you asked that question, I grew up a big Carolina basketball fan. Right. And that's what really attracted me to the campus. I played 4 sports in high school growing up. Once I realized I stopped growing, I realized the UNC basketball dream was out of question. And so, but still the love for the school, with it being close to Virginia, it was still something within my interest, and had a chance to visit the campus and fell in love with it. And then what they were doing football wise, what Mac was doing in the 90s, and the program that he was building, it made me fall in love with that school even more. And so decided to go to school there.
Who was the basketball player that got you hooked on Carolina?
It wasn't one in particular. Obviously, MJ was a little young.
Right.
I was a little young when MJ was playing, 82, 83. I was 5, 6 years old, so I really didn't really get a chance to really enjoy what MJ did at North Carolina, but I would say J.R. Reed was a Virginia Beach
Hmm.
native. I was a big
Number
fan of him.
34.
Yeah, Jeff Lebo. It was pretty cool because when Jeff Lebo came back to coach, um, you know, I was a big Jeff Lebo guy. Uh, and so, there was a bunch of guys. There's not one in particular, but I grew up King Rice, Jeff Lebo, J.R. Reed, George Lynch, just all of those guys, Rick Fox, all of those guys that played in the, mid to late 80s,
Hmm.
early 90s. They were people that I followed and would made me become a big Carolina basketball fan, a UNC basketball fan. How about that?
Yeah. So you said Mac Brown was the coach and what he was trying to do there. But if you're thinking Carolina basketball, you're thinking Dean Smith. You're an All American your freshman year on the football field. Did you get a chance to meet Dean Smith? And if so, were you just like, you're the reason I'm here, basically?
Yeah, no, I met Coach Smith. I think I might have met him when I came on a visit, but I really met him when I enrolled and after I had made those plays, had 13 picks, and so, uh, but yeah, having a chance to be in the presence of the great Dean Smith, man, I was starstruck. I was, like he was like you say, he was the real reason why I had interest in the school, the program, what he built, what he established, the men that he coached, the championship that he won. That's what made me and my family um, like the campus and fall in love with the campus like we did.
What's it like the first time you get handed practice gear and it's that Carolina blue?
It was, I mean, again, I felt like I was in heaven, right? And, I truly believe and felt the skies were always blue. The sun was always bright, shiny, and so it was like a dream come true, man. Just growing up a big Carolina basketball fan, it just felt it meant a lot to put those colors on. Um, and that's what it was. And even to this day, I'm a big Carolina basketball fan. I love watching them play. I follow everything that they do. I'm following all the stuff that's going on with the program and who the next head coach gonna be. But yeah, man, it's just one of those things, man. Like I got two teams that I really, really like in sports. Uh, and Carolina basketball is one of them. And so, I mean, it's just a lot of tradition, a lot of legacy, a lot of great people that came through that program. And it's one of the reasons why, or is the reason why that I love the school and love the program as much as I do.
What's the other team that you love?
I'm a big New York Mets fan, and I'm sure you knew that. I'm about to watch this game shortly. We play the Cardinals tonight at 7:45. I have the app, and so I watch every single baseball game. I watched the game last night on my phone, and so I'm gonna watch the game again tonight. And so they are my two favorite sports teams.
It's funny because you and I have spent a lot of time together. There's maybe the greatest bar in the country, Selwyn Pub
Dylan
in
Pub,
Myers Park, Charlotte, North Carolina. Shout out to them. And you love baseball, not
I do.
just the Mets. You love baseball. You've coached baseball.
hmm
Was baseball your first love?
It was. A lot of people don't know. I was equally recruited for both. I played in the Virginia Commonwealth Games. I don't know if you knew this, Jess. I don't know if I told you, but I played in the Virginia Commonwealth Games when I came out. Um, and that was like the big deal for, I played with Mike Kadaya.
No
He was on
way.
he was on my Commonwealth team. He's from Chesapeake as well. I grew up competing against him. He's a couple of years younger than me, but I had a pitcher on my team that got drafted in the seventh round. And Jimmy Anderson, he was a year older than me. And so we were really, really good at Western Branch. And we went to the States, let me see, as a sophomore, as a junior. I was ranked in the top 100 outfielders in the country. I mean, I was the fast little black dude that can run, right? I was a slap hitter. I batted lefty. I was a leadoff guy. I can drag bunt. I hit the ball to third base, shortstop. I beat it out. Um, I hit the ball left center field, get a triple. But
So
then in
you're like
specific,
Juan Pierre.
yeah, I was, and I tracked the ball in center field. I go get the ball, right, and that's what I did. And so, I had really, really good sophomore and junior year in baseball, and I had like 5 private workouts with protein before I went to Chapel Hill. A lot of people don't know that, but yeah, I had my senior year after I signed. So this is how it worked. So I was all state my sophomore, my junior year, um, like second team, third team. And then my senior year, after the pitcher left to go to the league, we didn't do as well.
Right.
My senior year, we were a top team in the state my sophomore, junior year. But still, after I signed to go to Chapel Hill in December, my senior year, I really didn't have much interest. I played 4 sports too, Justin. So I was kind of like worn out. I played football in the fall. I played basketball in the winter. And I ran track and played
Hmm.
baseball in the spring. And so I was worn out. I played baseball in the spring. I ran track that spring of my senior year, and I was worn out, man. Like I ran track so I can maintain my speed for football, and which was good. I wasn't, I was, and people don't know this. I could run, really run. I was like a 6'3", 60 guy in the 60. I was a 10, like in high school, I was like a 10'7", 10'8" guy in the 100.
Damn.
I could run, really run. Like, I was more quick than anything, but I ran tracks so it can help me with my speed. But I think my senior year playing baseball in the spring, I was worn out. I still made all conference, but I didn't make all state. But I still had a lot of interest for baseball. A lot of people knew that football was my first love. Like I was better, I was to play the game. I was better, right, in football because I was a receiver. People don't know this. I was first team all state receiver my senior year. Virginia recruited me strictly as a receiver. Everybody else recruited me as an athlete. So I was first team all state receiver my senior. I played receiver in the Virginia All State game. I got MVP. And that's where I met Shane Beamer because Shane Beamer was the receiver on the other team. So a lot of people don't know my
What?
story. Yeah. So yeah, so all of those things led to me, I was a diehard baseball guy, but I end up signing to go play football. And I was going to play baseball at Chapel Hill as well. So that was part of my deal. Clemson recruited me. If I went to Clemson, I was going to play baseball at Clemson as well. And what happened was my first year on campus at Chapel Hill, that fall semester, it was a lot. Everybody know how hard Chapel Hill
Hmm.
is academically. Um, and then me just going right in the fall, it was a lot. It was overwhelming, and I didn't do as well academically. And so I was academically ineligible to play baseball in the spring. And so Mac Brown didn't let me do anything with the baseball team. I had to work out with the football team and pull my grades up. So he didn't let me do anything with the baseball team in the spring. So I just did all football and trained football, pulled my grades up. And then when I came back and played my redshirt freshman year, that's when I intercepted all those balls.
Hmm.
And I did better academically. I was eligible. And then I went to go try to play baseball that spring of my second season, but I set out the whole year. And
Right.
it was hard.
It is
Like
hard.
it was. And so once you sit out a whole year, transitioning from high school to college, it's tough. The pitching was harder. Um, it was just tough. And back then, Carolina baseball wasn't really good. So
Hmm.
Brian Roberts, that played second
Second
baseman,
baseman. Yep.
his dad was the coach. I don't know
Yeah.
if you know that. I don't know if
I
you knew
did know
that.
that. Yeah.
And Brian we was on the same team, and we weren't really good. And I did okay. I was like 2 for 8. You can Google my stats, but I think I was like 2 for 8, 3 for 10, something like that. But it was hard. Like it was tough. I think I was tired after having a long, extensive season with football. Playing 12 games. My first year starting, making every All-American team, intercepting 13 balls, playing every snap defensively. When the season was over, I went straight to baseball. I
Hmm.
didn't have no time to revamp, to recover, to rest, and it was hard. So it was a transition, and I don't think I did as well early on. I struggled, and when you sit out a year, Justin, you got to adapt to the pitching.
Correct.
You got to get your arm back in throwing shape. After I didn't throw for a whole year, I got stronger. I gained 15 pounds from high school. So I just had to get acclimated and caught back up on baseball. And right when I was starting to come around, I was just overwhelmed. I was tired, man. And so I asked Coach Roberts if I can go home for spring break. Um, and when I went home for spring break, I didn't want to play no more. Like I
Hmm.
think somebody had talked some sense into me. They said, dude, you just had 13 picks. What are you doing? They said, you going to the NFL. Like, um, you need to recover. You need to relax. You need to enjoy the spring. And that's what I did. And so I weighed all the pros and cons. The baseball team wasn't good. Um, there was a lot of partying going on in the spring that I was missing. Um, there were all American banquets that I had to like. If I was gonna play baseball, I was gonna have to miss
Miss. Yep.
some of those all American banquets that I would have had to go to in the spring. Like I had Playboy All American coming up that I would that
Dre, you ain't missing that.
I ain't missing that, dude. No, so Playboy was coming up. I had Walter Camp. I had all these banquets coming up. And I just weighed all the pros and cons. So I just left baseball alone and stuck with football, brother.
I could just see you like pros and cons. Play baseball, Playboy. Oh, okay. Done.
Right. I ain't even have to think twice about it.
See you, coach. It's been
Yeah, I'm
real.
gone, coach. Gone.
So it's funny that you were an all-state wide receiver because I was wondering. Everyone always talks about defensive backs, right? The
Yeah.
reason why they play defense is they can't catch the ball. You though could catch the ball. You were a very good outfielder, so you had those skills, and then you translate it to 13 interceptions. Why defense versus offense when you got to Carolina?
Again, just weighing all the pros and cons. So so when I was in high school, I played every position. And that was the other thing that I think us growing up, 25 years ago, you played multiple sports, you played multiple positions. Um, yeah, I don't know if the very first position I played in baseball I was a catcher because, and so when I first started my first year I played baseball, I was a catcher. I caught my first 2 years of baseball and was an all-star at catcher. And but to answer your question, I played in football, I played wing back, I played receiver, I played free safety. And so, I received honors for both sides of the ball. I think my junior year, my sophomore year had like 6 picks. I might have been second team all state my junior year at safety. And then my senior year, I was first team all state receiver. And so they chose to put me on the offensive side of the ball. And so, but to answer your question, yeah, the reason why I caught the ball or had as many picks as I had collegiately and professionally because of my ability to play the ball, my ability to catch the ball. I don't know if you know this. I throw football on my left hand. I throw baseball on my right hand.
See, I didn't know that, but I saw you talk about like warming up in baseball, and I saw you like throwing righty. I'm like, wait a minute, I've never
Yeah.
seen you throw anything righty.
Yep. I shoot basketball right-handed. I write right-handed. I throw a baseball right-handed. I throw football my left hand. I golf and swing baseball left-handed. I punt with my right foot. Like I'm confused.
Okay, so which arm is stronger to throw? Your baseball arm righty or your football arm lefty?
I would say probably I probably say my left arm. I would say I'm
Okay,
stronger. Like if I'm doing, I think lefty, right? Because I can throw with either hand with
right.
either ball, but I can throw a football like 50 yards, like 40 yards. And my baseball arm, I would say was like average.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So
yeah,
if you can throw a football 40, 50 yards, I would say that's probably a little stronger. Like my baseball arm, I never really had a hose.
yeah.
I just had an average, like an average arm. And so I would probably say my left arm.
It's also funny because certain people you can see like what their dominant hand is, what their dominant side is. And whenever I think about you, I always think about your left side. I don't think about the right. Even when you talk, and I always feel like it's more the left hand than the right hand, but you're ambidextrous. I mean,
Yeah,
Jesus, this is crazy.
ambidextrous. Yeah,
Or
it's. I mean, but again, like there's not a lot of kids in today's time. That was kind of like I think it was more kids that was growing up 25, 30 years ago that were like that because of we did more things, right?
Mhm.
You were outside playing, you discovered new skill sets, new things you can do outside in the yard, playing different sports. And so that was and I think it might be some genetic. My mother bat lefty, but she right-handed. And so it could be genetic, but yeah, man, like that's my superpower. I think when people talk about there's different types of athleticism.
Mhm.
Um, you know, I be having this discussion with my wife all the time because when you talk about LeBron James, how physical, how much of a physical specimen he is, people say he's a tremendous athlete. Yeah, he is. But to me, like the versatility of things that I can do, um, like I think there's something to be said about those type of athletes as well. And to me, those type of athletes are higher up than a guy that can jump real high, that's real explosive, that's real fast, like shit, I can use either one of my hands. You know what I'm saying? So that's to me, that's more skill.
Here's what I always say about judging somebody's natural athleticism. It is, can you put that person in any sport and do they look natural playing that sport?
There you go.
That to me is a sign of a real athlete.
Yeah. No, you're
And
right.
so, like, and everyone says, "Oh, basketball players are the greatest athletes." I'm like, go
Yeah.
watch them throw and catch a baseball. It doesn't look
Yeah.
so good.
Because they can run and they can jump high. And yeah, no, you're right. So I'm cut from that cloth as well, Justin. Like, and so yeah, but that was my superpower, being able to play a lot of different sports, playing a lot of different positions, and which benefited me in football.
So, speaking of that freshman year, when you lead the country in interceptions, North Carolina football has always been second fiddle to the basketball team. At what point did you start getting recognized around campus? Like, oh shit, who's this Dre Bly dude?
Right. So midway through the season, well, yeah, I didn't realize what I was doing. I didn't realize the type of numbers that I was putting up or how rare that it was. For me, that's just me playing in the yard. That's what I always done, was get the ball. So I didn't think I was doing anything special. I just kind of like what my assignment was. I did it in high school, so I didn't know how rare it was. And so when you start walking around campus and you got people noticing you, and asking for autographs and stuff like that, and you gaining attention. Now it was pretty cool. At one point, Justin, I say this, but after that year, I felt like there was no difference in stardom or popularity between me and Vince Carter and Antoine Jameson. Like what we were doing football wise, we were 10-2. So we felt like we were trying to compete with those guys. They might have been high up on the mountain or on the board than me, but you couldn't tell me that they were more popular than me. That just based on how I felt, based on what we were doing football wise, and based on the year that I had. Shoot, I made every All American team in football.
Right.
I was a thought finalist, so you can't tell me that I wasn't, in my mind, as prominent or popular than those guys. And so even though it might be crazy, but that was the mindset that I had. That was the mindset that was created in the culture of the football program. And so I was just, doing what I was supposed to do.
Were you tight with them? Like,
Oh yeah, yeah. No, we were super cool. We were the same year, same class, 1995. And, again, me being a big Carolina basketball fan. So I was a fan as well. But yeah, we hung out. Like we
like
was
would you go to basketball practice? Would they come to football practice? That kind of stuff.
um I mean, like I went in the dean though. Back then we had a couple of players that played basketball.
Yep.
Octavius Barnes and Julius Peppers, and so I was able to get into the Dean Dome. I know I had season tickets to the game. I was able to get season tickets. Of all the football players, I was the one guy that was able to get season tickets, and so we would see those guys out. The way the basketball team operated, or the way they operate, because I assume it's still the same. They got their clique, they hang at their places. Football guys, they got their clique. and we'll meet up. We'll see him out. We break bread. We say hello, mutual respect. And that's pretty much how it was. But just like I was a fan of those guys, they were a fan of what we were doing as well. So that's pretty much how it was.
Those are some good times in Carolina. What
It
was Mac?
was.
Yeah, I know you went back and you coached with Mac Brown. What was Mac Brown like to play for?
I mean, Mac is, he's one of the goats, right? He did it for a long time, highly successful. The thing with Mac is he's a perfectionist, right? He wants everything to be done perfectly. And if it's not done perfectly, he's upset, right? He wants you to treat the players right. He wants the players to make good grades, and then he wants to win, right? And that's just how he wired. And if any one of those three things are off, then he's off, right? And if he's off, then we gonna be off. And so that's pretty much how it is with Mac. When it comes to recruiting, when it comes to dealing with the parents, that's just how he is. He's a player's coach. And as he got a little older, um, you know, obviously, he had more success. And so the standard was even greater, even higher. But no, he's one of the best to ever do it. Got a great deal of respect for him, learned a lot from him. And he's the reason why I'm here now. He gave me opportunity back in
Mhm.
2019. We went back to honor him about a month or so ago, and I told him, man, like the good that we did at the University of North Carolina, like we done a lot of good that haven't been done there ever, right? Going to an Orange Bowl, playing in the ACC championship, being responsible for recruiting Drake Maye, Sam Howell, and Josh Young, three of the greatest football players ever, University of North Carolina. Like we did that. Um, having a high graduation rate. We did that. So let's celebrate that. Um, I mean, there has to be an end to everything that happens in
Mhm.
life. And but you think about the good and not the bad, and just go from there. And so, but I'm glad that they were able to celebrate him. And I was there to experience it with him. I was sitting right by his side, and it felt good to be by coach because I had to take some time away from Chapel Hill as well. And but it felt good to be back to celebrate Mac and all the things, the good things that he's done.
So we talked about Selwyn Pub just before, and I think it was 2019.
Yeah.
You were going to be going into, was it the UFL or one of the new
It was the not the UFL, it was the is it double
US
AF?
AFL maybe, I don't know. It
Something
was
like that,
one of the
yeah.
it was one of the newer football leagues, and you're like, "Yeah,
Mhm.
dude, I'm gonna go coach, I think maybe in San Diego." And then all of a sudden, we're at the bar one night, and you're like, "No, I'm going to Carolina." I was like, "What?" You're like, "Yeah, Mac Brown's taking over and he's hiring me." And you said to me that night, "I'm going to Carolina and Sam Howell's coming too." And I
Mhm.
go, "Wait, isn't he committed to Florida State?" And you said, "Yeah, he's coming to Carolina with me." And I said, "How do you know that?" You're like, "I coach him in baseball. He's coming to Carolina with me." And you delivered on that.
Oh yeah.
What was it about your relationship with Sam that you
Well,
were so confident?
well, this whole game is about relationships.
Yeah, life is
And
about it. Yeah.
everything we do is about relationships. And so I have been coaching Sam. He played on my baseball team, my travel baseball team. So I had sponsored my baseball team um, for years, right? And I was able to establish a relationship with him and his family. And the only reason why he didn't commit to Carolina in the beginning was because of, um, I think they took a little too late to offer him, but just, the roller coaster years and wins and stuff that they were starting to have with Fedora and those guys. Fedora was a great offensive mind. I think he had some interest because of the success that they had prior, but the last couple of years kind of became rocky, and so kind of fell off. But the minute Mac was hired and I was hired, um, it was an easy sell. Obviously they knew what I was at the University of North Carolina, all the support that I got, all the things it helped me become. And my thing was when I was selling my alma mater, I just talk about me and my relationships with my
Mm,
teammates and all the things that it done for us and how the man that was responsible for the things is back. And so it was an easy sell. And I was sincere, I was authentic. There was no with me, there's no candy and no, I'm not gonna give you a bunch of candy and tell you a bunch of lies.
mhm,
What you see is what you get. And I could relate with the parents and the kid. And so um the same way it happened for me when I went 30 years ago, how we were able to build a program through getting the best players from this area, that area. They all visualized, saw what I saw. And Sam Howell, we was telling him, you can set the trend and you can be the tone setter. And that's gonna make you even more popular, make you even more important to the school. And it did. And he bought it and the reality became true. And he was able to see the results. And that's what led to Drake Maye,
yep,
right? My nephew, Josh Downs, coming from Atlanta, he would come visit me during the summers. He would play on the 7-on-7 team. And so a lot of people don't know this. Like Sam Howell played on my 7-on-7 team and he played on my baseball team. So I was with Sam just about all year round from 10th grade to his 12th grade year. So just the relationships that I was able to accumulate living in Charlotte, Justin, with all of the talent that we had, I almost got everybody. Like there was no player in Charlotte that I couldn't get. Right, I almost got Moose Muhammad. Right, Moose. Some fell through the cracks with Moose coming to Chapel Hill. All I can do is recruit them and point them into the direction. If I'm not coaching them, that's not on me.
mhm,
But um, we had a shot at Moose. We had a shot at this player. We had a shot at that player, Trent Simpson. Like all these relationships that I had in Charlotte were starting to come to light, right? And so I had a shot, man, and it started with Sam, but once I got Sam, and then I was able to get Josh, and then we created that buzz, right, with recruiting in the state of North Carolina. It was just a no-brainer. Like we were able to get to 757 Virginia. I was from Virginia, so I was able to go and lock down the state of Virginia, right? And so it was an exciting time, man, and that's why we were able to do as well as we did recruiting wise, along with the rest of the coaches that we had. We did a phenomenal job for Matt.
yeah. How good did you think Drake May was in high school coming to Carolina?
Thought it was really good. He was another kid that played a lot of multiple sports. He was a
Right.
really good baseball player. He used to compete against my son Jordan, playing travel baseball. So I was seeing him at a really early age. And obviously, I had to recruit him to Myers Park. That
Yeah.
was the other thing. He was one, when I was coaching at Myers Park and had my sons go in there, that was how we built the relationship with him early. So he left Huff and came to Myers Park. And so, but he's super talented, man. Seeing him on the basketball court. He come from a really athletic family with his mom and his dad and his brothers. And so it was just a matter of time with Drake, man. He was the quarterback for my sons at Myers Park. And so we were able to see some of the things that he was capable of doing on that level. And everything that you seeing now is what he's been doing since he was a kid, man. He loved to compete. He's super competitive. He's a hard worker. And so that's why he was able to help lead his team to Super Bowl this year because of all the things he's been doing since he was 10 years old.
And going back to what you were talking about before about a natural athlete, he's one of those natural athletes that you
He
might not
is.
think right away as a natural athlete, but he's good at like everything he does.
Everything he does, man, golf, basketball. So when him and my son was playing at Myers Park, Uh, like people don't understand how filthy he is on the court, man. Like he one of those basketball players. He not just don't let his color fool you. Like he just gonna sit behind the arc and shoot threes and just gonna lay the ball off the backboard. No, he gonna dunk it on your head, right? He gonna take off from the dotted line and lean in on you and ram that thing into the basket. He one of those type of basketball players.
Dang.
Like I used to call him white chocolate because he got so much swag on the hoop court. He got so much flavor on the hoop court, man. He's super athletic, man. And I mean, I'm not surprised to see him doing as well as he's doing.
I need to go back to your days playing your freshman year. I didn't realize this. At the time that you became an All American as a freshman, you joined four other players in the history of college football to be named an All American. Three of those players I'm going to name right now: Tony Dorsett, Herschel Walker,
Marshall
Marshall
Falk.
Falk.
Hmm.
Dude,
Three greats. Yeah.
that's sick.
Yeah, man. Like I mean, like this is the thing. Now that I'm in coaching, and I got to pinch myself sometimes, and so because now that I'm in coaching, um, you know, these players have no clue about what I've done. They don't know
Mhm.
who I am, and it's not for me to tell them. And I don't go around telling these players about what I've done as a player. Like even in the NFL, like it ain't my job to tell them about what I've done, because that's not gonna make them better. Um, but when I sit back and reflect on what I've done collegially, professionally, man, like I'm like, wow, you know what I'm saying?
Mm.
Like even when I was in adjuster, I didn't really know what I was doing. Like I didn't know, like I was just playing ball. Like I got 43 career picks in the NFL, caused 20 fumbles. Like those are Hall of Fame numbers, right? I got 8 touchdowns. Um, like I made a lot of plays, and
Mhm.
when I was playing, I didn't realize what I was doing. Like you don't think about what those numbers mean long term. It's like the guys that's playing in this game today, they're not gonna get nowhere near amount of picks that I've gotten or that the guys played in my generation got, and they throw the ball more. And to me, that's like I can't believe, like I can't see why not. Um, and so it's just like I pinch myself sometimes because I feel like what I did, like I had a rare ability, a talent that God blessed me with, and I made the most of it. And that's essentially, when you talk about what I've done, that's how I look at it.
It's funny because I was thinking, so in 1999, you get drafted, you go to the Rams, and by the way, your teammate there is Marshall Falk,
Yeah,
who, again, we just talked about. You two guys were freshman All American. But you go to the Super Bowl as a rookie and you win the Super
yeah,
Bowl as a rookie. Did you realize in the moment, like,
no,
how big that was?
no clue. No, like again, dude, I'm telling you, dude, like it's and former players, other former players say the same thing. Like when you in it, like you just don't know what you're doing, dude. In 1999, Justin, like again, like I played in 2 Super Bowls in my first 3 years,
Right.
1999, 2001. Like I was in Nelly videos in 1999, pulling up to the set with Nelly, like a video shoot. Like I'm like, what? Like I just thought that's the way it's supposed to be. Like, I'm in Air
Wait,
Force One,
how did he get? I know
St.
he's a
Louis
St. Louis
Rams.
guy, so, like,
Yeah,
but, like, how
we
did he get in touch with you?
because no, so like we winning games, dude. We hot in the streets in St. Louis. He hot in the streets, so it was a good marketing tool for him as well as he was coming out to wear St. Louis Ram jerseys. And so him coming to the game, country grammar, that's all 1999, 2000.
Mhm.
So like when you shooting videos, there's no better people than to have in your video than professional athletes. And we were hot. And so, yeah, I was in the Air Force One video, dude. Like me, Marshall, Torrey Holt, DeMarco Favre, Ozzie Smith, Ray Langford. Like we went to the video. They asked us to come to the video, and yeah, I was honored, dude. And I was what 25 years old. I was down in I can't even think of the name of the city. I can't even think of it. Delmar Loop or something like that. And yeah, we shot the video, dude. But it was pretty cool, man. Like all the things that I did back during that time, like I couldn't believe that I done it. Like and it happens so fast. And it's the thing, that's why you need to enjoy every
Mm.
moment. And my message to the kids that I coach, to the players, let's enjoy this moment. Make the most of every opportunity because you never know when it's stripped, when all of these things, all of these resources, all of these benefits, the privileges that you have, you don't know when it's going to be stripped from you. So you got to make sure you enjoy it and live every moment out because it can be taken away from you just like that. And to say that my first 3 years I played in the playoffs, I never went back after that, Justin. So
That's
when I
that
was in
was
the Super Bowl in '99, like I probably didn't appreciate it or enjoy it like I really should because that's what I felt like I was supposed to do. Like I came into the league going to a Super Bowl and winning one. Like when I lost it in 2001, I thought I was going to go right back the next year because I had went to two in the first 3 years where I never went back to the playoffs after that, Justin. You know what I'm saying? And so
yeah.
when I look at the Super Bowl on Super Bowl Sunday, it's an emotional day for me. Like I get teary eyed when I hear the national anthem. Like I almost went to the Super Bowl when I was coaching with the Lions. I was this close from going back. Um, 1 or 2 plays. So that's why, like, when you in these moments, man, when you got a chance, you got to make sure you really living it through and making the most of it because you never know. You never know when you're gonna get a chance to go back.
Were you on the field for the final play of
Yes,
that Super Bowl against Tennessee?
yes, I was. I was the right corner. They threw the ball to the left side. I was on the field that whole last drive. I was the nickelback. And yeah, I was on the field. That last drive, Justin, it felt like it was a 2 minute drive, 2 minute offense. It felt like it would that 2 minute offense felt like it lasted a whole hour. That's how slow motion everything felt. How loud it was, how just everything was just slow motion.
London Fletcher lives here in Charlotte, was your teammate on that team. I got to ask him about that last play. Do you remember the play call that you guys had for that?
I don't remember the exact call. I know we was in some sort of man because I was up in press, um, and I was man on my guy, which was the number one receiver. Somebody was on number two in the slot to my side, and so I don't really know. What did London say?
Yeah, I'd have to go back and listen, but what he wasn't involved in that play either, just like you weren't involved in the play. You were on the field, but it wasn't to your side. So, at what point did you look and see the tackle was made?
Well, I was focused on my guy because
Right, that's what I yeah,
the one thing I didn't want to do is have bad eyes and me look too soon and throw the ball to my guy. And then I'm the one that's getting beat on Super Bowl Sunday for the game winning touchdown. So I don't think I look my guy ran like a little pivot route. So he pivoted to the sideline, came back. So once he came back, I was able to see I was able to, like break, like running towards once I saw my guy wasn't getting the ball, my momentum was all taking me that way. So once the ball was thrown, I broke in that direction. And when I saw him running towards the end zone, I just like froze. Like I think I might have stopped. I don't know, but I knew he was short. Um, like that would have been a heck of a call if they called a
I
touchdown.
know.
And I would just, this the thing, like a one-on-one tackle, a linebacker with a receiver, that's a hard tackle.
Mhm.
Like if I'm the receiver and I got to get a yard, like I would like to think that I can make that guy miss, right? Hit him with a jab step and fall forward for 2 yards or fall forward for 3 yards. And Mike Jones had that was a Pro Bowl caliber year. I think he made the Pro Bowl that year, but there probably there would have been one other person that I would have wanted to make that tackle or would have been
London.
in position. That's London, right?
Mhm.
And there couldn't have been a better person on that defense on that final play than Mike Jones because of the year that he had and what he meant to our team. So I felt confident that he was going to make that tackle.
It's just so crazy that you 2 guys were on the field, that you 2 guys make your home in Charlotte, North Carolina. I was also going back and looking at different things. That rookie year that you had, do you remember your first career interception?
Yeah. San
Against
Francisco.
who was the quarterback?
It was Jeff Garcia.
Okay. How about your first pick six?
Yeah, Carolina Panthers. Steve
Quarterback?
Berline
Yep.
on Moose Muhammad
Oh, really?
on the slant. Well,
And it was in Charlotte.
in Charlotte, took it back for 50.
How many fans did you have at that game?
I had 50 some tickets at that game.
Shut up.
Yeah, I got a bus from Virginia to drive up. Family, friends, 50 tickets.
And then I'm trying to think, 2003, I think it was, when you signed with Detroit,
Hmm.
Thanksgiving Day
I had 2 picks.
against Brett Favre.
Yeah, I got another trivia question. Uh, when people ask me what quarterback I picked the most, it's Brett. I, it's Brett. Yeah, I think I'm not exact on the number, but I would say I think
You
I
had
might have
3
got,
that year against him.
yeah, but I got him every year just about. Like I had,
Why? What was it about him?
I mean, Brett, he's going. I
He's a
mean, the one thing,
gambler.
he's a gambler, so and that's when you gambling as a guy that got ball skills. Sometimes that's gonna bite you in the ass, right? And but on the flip side of it is like as a receiver, you want a quarterback that is not afraid to make a throw in a tight window, right? And you got to have confidence in your receiver that his ball skills is better than the corner ball skills. And uh, so that kind of made Brett who he was as a player. But also, when you're playing against guys that got ball skills like myself, sometimes that's gonna bite you in the butt, right? And um, in those games, those years when I played against Brett, I got him a few times, and so that was check mark for me.
Did he ever say anything to you post game? Just, handshakes, hugs, be like, "You son of a bitch got me again."
Now, Brett wasn't, I mean, he had some sarcasm to him. Um, but yeah, that's the thing. I think I might have made. I'm trying to think if I made a Pro Bowl with. I don't think I made a Pro Bowl with him, but I mean, pretty much I had a reputation for it. That was who I was. Again, like if there's one word 20 years from now that should represent who I was, playmaker will pop up because that's
Mhm.
what I did. I found a way to get the ball out. So that's pretty much who I was in college, and that's pretty much who I was in the NFL.
You signed with the Lions in '03, and talk about playmaking. Your first 3 games, you had a pick in each of the first 3 games. So you just made the Lions front office look phenomenal
I
by
did.
signing you in
I
those
did.
first 3 games. What made you decide to sign with Detroit?
Well, I mean, one, just being in St. Louis and, my locker mates were my first 2 years, it was Todd Light and Marshall Falk. And then when Todd left, I had Aeneas Williams. So I was in between 3 really good players, 2 Hall of Fame players, and just being on that team with Ricky Prohl and Isaac Bruce, Torrey Holt, London Fletcher, Mike Jones, being around some great leaders. And I was able to see what we were able to do. The year before we won the Super Bowl, London, they were 3-13.
Mhm.
So we went from uh like being bad to really, really good in 1 year. And so uh, I felt like I had the ability to help turn Detroit around. Obviously, they paid me some good money, and it was hard to turn down what they offered me. But um, I wanted to go be that guy, and that was kind of like where my focus was. If I didn't, and I think about it all the time, if I didn't sign with Detroit, I had visits set up to go to New England, which I could have had a chance to be on those dynasties, playing with Tom Brady. New England, obviously New England, because I played against those guys, being in St. Louis.
Yeah.
But New England, Minnesota, and Oakland Raiders were the 3 teams that were on my list to visit if I left Detroit. And I think I was going to, I'm sorry, what I said, Minnesota. Did I say Minnesota?
New England,
Yeah. So I
Minnesota,
was
and Oakland.
I was scheduled to go to Minnesota when I left Detroit, and then New England was going to be the next stop. So, yeah, but Detroit, they offered me. They didn't want to let me out of the building. Kevin Warren, who's the president of the COO or CEO of the Chicago Bears. He's the top guy for the Bears that,
Yeah.
that hired Ben Johnson. He was, people don't know this, but he started off as our player development in St. Louis. And he left St. Louis to go become in the front office with the Lions in 2002 or 1. And so he was responsible for, turning those guys on to me, because Oz Hakeem had went the year before I went. They also tried to get London Fletcher as well. So he was trying
Yes,
to, he was, did London tell you that?
he did. So this
Yeah,
was Matt Millen was the GM.
Matt Millen was a GM, but Kevin Warren was working with Matt Millen. So they were trying to get all the Ram guys that the Rams couldn't pay. And so, they didn't let me up out of the building. Kevin obviously knew what I was, how I was, and he knew I would be a good fit for the Lions. And so, they didn't let me leave the building.
So here's what I love. You said the Lions, they paid me good money, so that's always good. I
Yeah,
asked London why he signed with Buffalo. He's like, "It paid me good money."
yeah,
He's like, and then, but he did tell me that he gave Buffalo his word
yeah,
that he was going to sign, but then Matt Millen told him where we want to sign you. And London's like, "Hey, I just told Buffalo I'm going to sign. The number has to start with this." And Millen goes, "No problem. Get on the plane." And London was like, what do I do
hmm
now? And his agent said, "No, no, you gave your word. You got to keep
yeah.
your word." So,
And he did right.
yeah, he did. He did.
He
Uh,
did right because it worked out for him.
so it's neat to hear those stories. And I love how you both told it totally separately and it corroborates
Yep,
perfectly.
yep.
In Detroit, what was the biggest obstacle for you coming from St. Louis, having been to those Super Bowls, having had the winning success, going to Detroit, trying to flip that team around? What was the biggest obstacle?
Just the professionalism of the players. There was tons of professionalism in St. Louis, playing with a bunch of savvy vets, guys that understood what it took, guys that, bought into Dick Vermeil and the staff that we had. We had a young team in Detroit, a bunch of young, talented guys coming from college, the Joy Harringtons, the Roy Williams, the Mike Williams, the Charles Rogers, a whole bunch of guys that were really, really good college football players. And so those guys just, even Jeff Backus, guys before Joy Harrington. I mean, I think they had top 10 picks for almost like 10 straight years.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
um, so they had potential good players. To me, I don't, and this is the way I look at it. All of those guys were good college football players. So there was some talent. Everybody don't pan out the way it should, but Matt Millen caught a lot of slack behind those draft picks. And I get it. Somebody got to be blamed. But my whole thing was those players weren't professionals, right?
Mhm.
They didn't know how to be pros. They didn't maximize their full potential. The coach do their part. The player didn't do their part. And that was the biggest thing that I struggle with because I was in a place in St. Louis where everybody upheld their end of the bargain. And even if I got distracted as a young player or had some wild days, right, there were vets like Marshall Faulk and London Fletcher and Mike Jones that can, pull me back in. And so I was trying to be that guy in Detroit. We didn't have, I don't think we had enough guys that came from winning like myself that understood what it took. So it was a struggle. It
Yeah.
was a process. And we had some bad breaks. I think Steve Mariucci, who was a great coach, a great leader of men, he came from San Fran, being around more of a veteran team. He had some success in San Fran with Jeff Garcia and some of those guys, and T.O. and some of the guys he coached in San Fran. So it just didn't pan out for him. And I had some individual success, making the Pro
Right.
Bowls and playing
Mhm.
well, but it just didn't. We couldn't put it all together and get team success like I was hoping and like everyone was hoping back during those times in Detroit.
You mentioned in St. Louis when you had, those young nights out that, you're gonna go out and have fun, that a London brought you back in, that a Mike Jones or Marshall Faulk. How would those veterans bring you back? What would they do? What would they say to you to be like, "Hey, we need you to do this?"
Well, I mean, just, like if I overslept, because like everybody has overslept, a meeting, staying out, partying and enjoying, celebrating the night before win and so, they would put me aside and let me know like, yo, you ain't gonna be the reason why we don't win. And also explain to me how you find yourself up out of this league. And I was a guy that didn't want to be one of those guys. I wanted to play because it were things that I was trying to do. And so I had to weigh all the pros and cons. I had to understand that, okay, and realize I had to grow up fast. And this is the other thing, when you're 22, 21 with a bunch of money, you know, freedom, a lot of excitement, you're popular. I mean, it's hard, man.
Mhm.
And and it's good to have good vets around you that want to teach and help the younger guys and it's willing because everybody not like that.
Right.
But based on how our head coach was in Dick Vermeil and the men that he put together on that team, that's who they were. And so it actually saved my career, I think. The men that I was around in St. Louis, the coaches and the players, it helped me take that next step as a player.
We talk about athletes. Marshall Faulk, obviously a tremendous athlete, but your last stop, I believe, was in Denver, and you were paired with Champ Bailey. Champ Bailey, a ridiculous athlete.
Ridiculous.
What was it like being his teammate, working out with him on a daily basis?
Another one of my good buddies, like he probably is the one guy. It's two guys I would say freak of natures, and that's Marshall and Champ. Um, Champ didn't lift weights. He didn't stretch. When I saw him, right when
Okay.
I got to Denver, and this was a year for us. This might have been year eight, nine. Yeah, by year 8, 9, 10, 11. Yes, I think this might have been year 8 and 9, and I don't think it changed much. Like he wasn't doing anything. I think he probably was the same way years before, but Champ didn't lift. He didn't stretch. I'm stretching, got my ropes just I'm trying to bend my leg this way, and this joker just taking a knee like the whole time doing stretch period, just talking, chilling. Uh, he was a phenomenal. When you talk about different types of athletes, because Champ played multiple sports, played multiple positions. I think he's a rare type of athlete as well because he's not the strongest. His body, or me, he doesn't look to be
Right.
he's not the strongest looking, right? He's a slender body, but the way he competes, um, how his ball skills, his athleticism, how high he jumped, the things he can do. I think he's rare, man. And he's the most, saying all of that about Champ, Justin, he's the most humble. And I'm not going to say one of the most, he's the most humble person that I've ever been around.
Damn.
For him to be as great as he is, arguably he's the best defensive back to ever play the game. I mean, he has the most Pro Bowls. Like I will argue, Chad Bailey got 52 career, like 52 of I think 52 career picks. Like he was you talk about the epitome of a shutdown corner. Well, he's a shutdown corner that made a lot of plays, right? And in the year he had 10 and 8 picks, Jesse. You can go look this up. It was year 7 and 8, where by year it might have been 6 or 7, but at that time he was the best corner in the game. So he wasn't getting balls. They weren't throwing the ball his way,
Right, right.
and this joker still got 10 and 8 picks.
It's like
And
Barry Bonds hitting the 73 home runs when he gets 75 pitches.
right, yes, that's what I'm saying. Like they didn't throw the ball his way, Justin. Like if they did, it was 2, 3 times a game. And plays that he made because he had phenomenal awareness, instincts. He got a lot of tips, a lot of overthrows. He had instincts. He had awareness. And so my whole point in saying that, Justin, these top tier corners in today's time that y'all be talking about on TV, that y'all talking about they the best corner game, and he got one pick, man, come on, man. Like these jokers ain't making no plays, and y'all sitting here talking about they the greatest. Make some plays, homeboy. You know what I'm saying? Like get the ball. Just
Hmm.
be a ball disruptor. Go get the ball. We got the ball. And Champ Bailey is a prime example of that because he was the best corner in the game at year 6 or 7. They didn't throw the ball his way. He was a 4 or 5 time Pro Bowl at this point, and this joker had 10 or 8 picks. And they didn't throw the ball as much as they throw the ball today. So, and that's so my whole point in, and I know it's a different time, right? I know things change.
No, but
Yeah.
you're throwing the ball more. There are more opportunities. Get a pick.
Get a pick, man. So they paying all this money to all these jokers and they got 0 picks. Man, get out of here. Go make a play.
I love it because this leads to my next question. You talked about it before at the very beginning. You love North Carolina. You love North Carolina for its basketball, but you were too young when Michael Jordan was there. However, you became a Jordan athlete. So that guy is the ultimate competitor.
Yeah.
What was it like when you first had your first interaction with Michael
Well,
Jordan?
first of all, obviously he gonna talk trash to anybody and everybody they see, right? And I'm a trash talker too. And again, the whole theory of who the better athlete, football or basketball players. And so, and M would make jokes about how dumb we were running around hitting each other, right? Like you talk about you a great athlete. You ain't too smart because you decided to run around and knock each like he would kind of make jokes about that, right? And one of the how he shut me up completely. He said, "How old were you when you retired, Dre?" I said, 35. He said, 35, I got an MVP. Like he said, at 35, he said, you retired. So I'm telling you who's the better athlete. When we talk about basketball and football players, at 35, you retired. At 35, I got an MVP.
That's awesome.
So so that's man. But it was pretty cool to be part of the brand. Obviously, growing up, knowing that he went to Chapel Hill, but just also being a basketball fan, I became a Jordan fast fan. I mean, a Jordan fan fast. And so obviously the shoes were something that we all admired.
Mhm.
We all wanted when we were kids. We couldn't, you didn't
Couldn't
have
afford
the money,
them. Yeah.
couldn't afford them, right? And so when I had a chance to join the brand in 2003, when I went to Detroit after I made the Pro Bowl, it was pretty cool. And those relationships, one of the benefits with being a brand Jordan athlete is they say once you in for life. And you were able to witness what that meant. The relationship, I have with Fred Winfield, who was
Mhm.
the person that negotiated my deal. He was the president or vice president with the brand at that time. Um, Relationships go a long way, man. And they fulfilled every commitment, did everything that they say they were going to do, and still doing it to this day. And so, love the relationship. Appreciate him. Appreciate all the relationships, all the great people I've met through being a brand Jordan athlete, which allowed me to meet you as well.
Mhm.
And so, but no, it's been one heck of a ride, and I'm still enjoying it.
Did you and MJ ever talk about your both love for baseball?
Um, I don't know how. I mean,
Like,
he knew that.
that's what I'd love to see. I'd love to see you and MJ just put gloves on and go play catch,
Yeah, that'd be pretty cool. I mean, I would love that too. We
right?
didn't really have a conversation about baseball. Um, like I try to, when I was around him, I just, this is the thing, and I kicked myself because I didn't want to act like a little groupie around him.
Right.
Um, I was in exclusive groups with him at dinner tables, at parties. I just didn't, we fellow Tar Heels, we've communicated, we've texted, we've talked, but just being that fan, like, yo, Em, let me get this picture so I can put on my wall, right? I never done that, man. And
Mhm.
I kicked myself because I had plenty of opportunities. Went to the Kentucky Derby with him. Went to the MJ. Yeah, I went to the Derby with him. Like he used to bring his athletes and the Jordan Classic. going to the Bahamas to golf at his golf tournament, like being in all those events, man. Um, being in private parties with him.
Dang.
Never once got a picture. Um, I got a signed jersey though. I do have a signed jersey. I got a MJ jersey
Now wait,
on my
is
wall.
it Carolina or is it Chicago
It's
Bulls?
Bulls.
Okay.
I have Kobe. I got MJ. So my three goats: Kobe, MJ, and Primetime. Deion Sanders is
Damn.
he's my guy.
Okay, I'm glad you said that because I always saw you the way you would move on the football field and you had a little bit of a dance and it kind of reminded me of Prime Time.
Yeah, Prime my
Was
guy.
was that all because of him?
Prime is the guy I like emulated. That was the guy I tried to do everything that he did. Prime. Like I studied his moves. Like he played baseball, I played baseball. He hold the ball with his left hand, I hold the ball with my left hand. Every time he got a pick, he rolls the ball. I do the same thing. Uh, I rolled my gloves. I played with a gold chain. I had a gold bracelet. I did everything Prime did. Everything.
I love it. I
My
love it.
stance. I used to go outside in the yard and practice my stance that Deion did. Like his press stance when he was up in press, his stance when he quick jam. Like I used to practice all this stuff. So that was the thing that I think growing up, Justin. I don't know if there was a golfer that you watch.
No,
Uh,
honestly, golf was late for me, but it was baseball, it was basketball, all those type of
okay.
things. I was like you.
So I used to go outside, like if I see a move on TV, I would go outside and try that move. Like MJ had moves. Like I thought I was gonna hoop, but I told you I stopped growing. But I used to try his hoop moves, his moves he did when he playing with the Bulls.
Mhm.
Um, like I was a big Mets fan, so I used to try to hit like Darryl Strawberry, like
Mhm. Yep.
batting left, swinging the bat with the high leg. I used to practice that stuff, dude.
Dude,
I
I was
really
Ricky
did.
Henderson.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. All that stuff, dude. Like all that stuff.
I love it. Well, hey, Dre, I like to finish all my podcasts with a segment I call This Just In, and it's rapid fire questions. You could take as long as you want to answer. I also reserve the right to ask a follow up. Best athlete you ever played with?
Best athlete, I would say Champ Bailey.
Okay. Toughest wide receiver for you to defend?
Toughest receiver for me to defend. I would say Randy Moss.
Just so big and fast?
Yeah, I mean, he was scary, dude. Like I was scared, like early on. Like when I first came into the league, he was the most dynamic. He was the most dangerous. In 2000, 1999, 2001, nobody wanted to see Randy Moss. Like 2002, everybody was like, when he got a little older, he started like, he wasn't, he had some games, some plays he might have took off. And then I gained more confidence by those years as well. So if you can play the deep ball, I was all right? But
Yeah.
in 99, 2000, 2001, he was trying to murder everybody he lined up against. Like he was trying to embarrass you.
Like so
Like
when
you really needed help when you went against Moss.
you
Because he
get
was
lined
so
up,
fast.
would you
Huh?
like when you get lined up against Moss?
When I played with the Rams, I always tried to see where my safety was. Like, you need to come over here. Like literally. Like when we played them in 1999 in the NFC divisional game, and he went off on us. Like every time I lined up, I was looking for my safety. And I was a first, second year guy in the league. You come on over here.
Yeah.
When I went to Detroit in 2003, it was a different. I was confident. Year
Right.
4, year 5, I was a Pro Bowl player or becoming a Pro Bowl player, so it was a different energy I had. And by that time, he was just really just running deep balls.
Right.
All Moss wanted to do was go deep. He didn't throw up the hand. At that point, you pretty much got an idea who he was, and I could play the ball, so I didn't have no issues with the deep ball.
How about the interception that you're most proud of?
I probably would say it's two. I would say my first career pick six against the Panthers. That was the one that kind of elevated me, which made me uh, help shape me into the person that I became in the NFL. But I would say the one pick that doesn't get talked about enough was the interception NFC Championship game,
Hmm.
my 1999 year against Tampa Bay. We didn't cross the 50-yard line the whole game, and I got a pick against Sean King, which gave us the ball on the other side of the 50. The next play, they threw it deep to Ricky Pro for the touchdown. So they talk about Ricky Pro's touchdown, but they don't talk about the interception enough that gave us the ball at midfield to take that shot to get the touchdown. So that was probably the most important one because that helped us get to the Super Bowl.
How about the quarterback that you felt you read the best?
Obviously I would say Brett Favre, because I intercepted him the most. I would say he gave me the most opportunities to make plays. I played against him the most, so I would say Brett.
Did he have any tells, or did a quarterback have any tells that you were able to pick up that would let you maybe jump the route a little bit faster?
No, I would say all the quarterbacks pretty much. I mean, if you're reading your keys, you key three step, and then it's more so the receiver giving it away, right?
Okay, so who was a receiver who gave it away?
I can't. I
Okay.
mean, it's not really one I can say. Typically the way it works, Justin, you can a quarterback uh reading a three step. Typically when you read three step for quick game slants, quick hitches, your eyes immediately go back to the receiver, right? And I would say all the three steps pretty much look the same. But once you clear three step and the quarterback get to a five-step drop, your eyes go back to the receiver. And so then you're reading routes, stems and anticipating the route based on what you see from the receiver. So they all about the same.
You said it kind of before, but what is the best part of being a Jordan Brand athlete?
I would say one, outside of the merch that I've gotten, I mean, it's done a lot for me and my family. I'm truly grateful. Has saved me a lot of money. But I would say just the people that I've met. I've met a lot of outstanding people being in the brand. Anthony Hamilton, prime example. Uh, really, really good friends with him. D Nice. A lot of people don't know this. D Nice and Anthony Hamilton, and D Nice has blown up tremendously since quarantine, right? I mean, he's doing the Grammys, he's at the White House. D Nice and Anthony Hamilton did my wife's 30th birthday party. And I met both of those guys through the brand, through going to one of Jordan events in the Bahamas or at the Jordan Classic. And they both performed my wife's 30th birthday party. D Nice was
Wow.
the DJ and Anthony Hamilton performed. And so and this was shoot, 20
16
years
years
ago.
ago. Yeah.
I mean, I'm 40, 18 years ago,
Yeah, you're right, you're
right?
right,
And
yeah.
so,
Dang.
yeah, no, it's so just relationships, the people that I've met on World Wide West, right?
Yeah.
I'm sure you've heard of him, know of him.
Oh,
He's the
yeah, I've met
president.
him, yeah, yeah.
He was one of them. He was living in Detroit when I played with the Lions. He would come to every game, and he was one of the ones. Along with, I give credit to World Wide West and to Fred Winfield,
Interesting.
right? World Wide West kind of connected me with Fred. Uh, and Fred took it from there. But that was kind of, World Wide West was him and Fred, those guys being advocates for me being in the brand. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
so just relationships, dude. I can pick up the phone, call West right now, call him Unc. Unc, I need this, right? And he gets it done. Same thing with Fred. So relationships, dude. I mean, those relationships goes a long way.
I'll tell you a quick funny story. I was doing a high school basketball game tournament in Springfield, Massachusetts, and I was introduced to this guy, Wes, and it was Worldwide Wes. And he was
Hmm.
telling me he was going to Boston afterwards. I go, "Oh, what hotel you staying at?" And he says, I was like, "Oh, I've got a friend who works there. If you need some help, let me know." He's like, I think I'm good." I had no idea who it was.
World Wide West, dude.
Yeah,
That dude
Worldwide
highly
West.
connected
He's got connections everywhere. All right.
everywhere, dude.
Now to wrap things up, you said you played with Shane Bieber in high school, right? And now you're on the staff with him at South Carolina. What is it like to be playing in a game when you're 17, 18 years old and now working together 30 years later?
Man, it's crazy, dude. And One of the reasons why I'm here, Shane and I has, we've been cool since I've been in this coaching. And, obviously I was going to Virginia Tech. I told you that. I don't know if I told you, but I was going to Tech if I didn't go to Chapel Hill. So everything that his dad was, the man that Hall of Fame coach, uh, I see it in Shane. I mean, he's a people's person. Everything
Mhm.
I told Shane is he remind me of Mac and remind me of a young Mac and a young Coach Beamer, his dad. And those are the type of men I want to be around. He's phenomenal with recruits. He's outstanding with his players, and he's even better with his staff. And those are the guys that I want to be around. I love his vision. Um, I love everything he represents, man. And in this profession, Justin, you got to be aligned with the right men. And not only just him, man. Like Clayton White, who's DC, played against him in college. He's really good friends with Torrey Hope. He went to NC State. And so I've been knowing him for the last 15 years as well. And we went to Carolina football camp, Chapel Hill football camp back in 96 together or 94, 93 together. He remembered that. And then Mike Fury, who was the receiver coach. We played together with the Detroit Lions. So it's just a lot of relationships, man. But
Yeah.
everything starts with Shane. I think we have this is a great football place to be. Great tradition. I trained Stephon Gilmore.
Yep.
You remember that?
Mhm.
Darian Stewart. I trained those guys when I was in Charlotte. Played with a bunch of guys that played at South Carolina. Deuce Staley is one of my good buddies. Jamar Nesbitt, who lives in Charlotte,
Yep.
one of my good buddies. Andre Goodman, who played corner here. There's a lot of great guys that I seen. I saw John Abraham the other night. We had the same agent, when we came out. He's a year younger than me, played in the Pro Bowl with him. So they have great tradition, man. And so, and SEC is the best conference in football, right? And so I felt like it was an opportunity I couldn't pass up. Coach extended the opportunity for me to be here, and I'm excited to be here.
Well, I'm excited for you too. Although, despite you being at South Carolina, you'll always be a Tar Heel to me, and
You
I think I'm not the only one. You'll always be a Tar Heel too.
Well, I appreciate it, man. But most importantly, Justin, I'm having a chance to mentor and coach.
Mhm.
And that's the most important thing, no matter what logo I have on my shirt. The most important thing is to be with like-minded men and having a chance to uplift the ones that's coming up under us. And so I have an opportunity to do that, and I look forward to it.
Yeah, it's all about giving back and helping out, and that's what you're doing, Dre. Man, I appreciate you doing this to my birthday twin. I really appreciate it, man.
No
Yeah, that's
doubt,
right,
brother.
22, baby, 22. But good luck with the Gamecocks, and I'll be following you.
All right, brother.
All
Appreciate you.
right, thanks.
Peace.